Station Houston on 2 with a little more on the Dragon windows.
Go ahead, CJ, we're with you.
Okay, Sonny, the window I already gave to Aki, 1326 to 1347, that is the window we are targeting. That's the prime window. That will be a darkness window, but you have strobe lights and all the camera views and everything. The backup release window begins at 1359, 1359, and goes all the way to 1421. And that's the one that begins 1 minute after sunrise.
Okay, copy. Prime 1326, 1347, backup 1359, 1421.
All right, Sonny, that's a good copy, and we're still looking to call you back about 1310 for 1.602.
Okay, copy. We're standing by.
Capcom CJ Serco there talking with Sonny Williams, the commander of Expedition 33, just confirming the release windows that the crew would need to target. He's giving those times in GMT times, 1326 to 1347. That equates to 826 to 847 a.m. Central Time, 926 to 947 Eastern. That's going to be the prime window, so it sounds like we're going to be on time today for a release at 826 a.m. Central, 926 a.m. Eastern. There is a backup window that'll actually be a daylight window that'll begin at what he said was 1359. That is 8:59 a.m. Central, or 9:59 a.m. Eastern. And it goes for about a little more than 20 minutes to 9:21 a.m. Central, or 10:21 a.m. Eastern. And again, that is a daylight pass. But our prime window, 8:26 to 8:47, that'll be in the dark. But of course, the crew has the strobe lights on Dragon that will most likely be turned on. And then there's some external floodlights on the outside of the station that will help light up Dragon as the crew releases it and backs the arm away.
Station Houston on 2 for the camera that's looking at the lab RWS. I'd like to get a little more focus on that. If maybe you go manual and try and so we can read the letters a little better.
Okay, in work.
Awesome work, Sonny. The crowd is very pleased down here.
And that was Aki's young eyes.
Nice work, Aki.
That was Aki's not so young eyes.
Again, this is the over-the-shoulder view that the crew has set up as we take a look at their view on board the International Space Station as they work down in the cupola. They're keeping eyes on Dragon as they watch this overlay view as they get ready to release Dragon coming up in about 25 minutes. As we count down toward this release, let's take a look at the timeline after the crew does release Dragon. Again, there's going to be a departure burn at 8:27. That's the first of a series of burns that will take Dragon away from the station. So that first one, again, 8:27. There's a second one a couple minutes later at 8:29. There's a yaw maneuver at 8:35, followed by another departure burn at 8:36. At that point, Dragon will cross the 200-meter mark, which is the keep-out sphere of the International Space Station. And then by 8:54, which is about the time that we'll go off the air today, it'll be more than 6 kilometers away from the International Space Station vicinity. Dragon has a burn that will reduce its apogee, which is the highest point of its orbit, perigee being the lowest point, but that will be at 9:22. That will help it close in on the point that it needs to do the deorbit burn. Deorbit burns basically reduce the perigee of spacecraft, just like what the space shuttle used to do. What that does is dip the lowest part of their orbit back into the Earth's atmosphere in a way that will actually start the process of bringing them back in. But Dragon's deorbit burn is at 1:28 p.m. Central Time. It will be a 10-minute and 40-second burn. Again, 10 minutes, 40 seconds long at 1:28 p.m. Central Time. The trunk of Dragon will be jettisoned soon after that at 1:41. Entry interface will take place at 1:43. That is when Dragon will cross into the Earth's atmosphere about 300,000 to 400,000 feet up in the air. The drogue chutes will be deployed about 20 minutes later at 2:11, and then the main chutes will be deployed at 2:12, followed by the splashdown at 2:20, about 250 miles west of Baja, California. Parts of Spain and Portugal in view there as Dragon and the space station fly 265 miles above the Earth. We're now 19 minutes away from the release of Dragon as these two vehicles continue to fly together. The crew down in the cupola getting ready to release Dragon from the station's arm, and everything going according to plan.
Station from Node 2 for that camera view.
Go ahead, Aki. We lost that Node 2 camera view, so we routed something else up. Or do you have it back?
No, hey, I can put it back, CJ. It's Kevin, and I stole it just to take some photos, and I was going to take a few more while it's still daylight. I'm going to put it back before undocking. I was just wondering if you guys are wanting it really badly right now. I'll put it back for you.
It's a crew call, Kevin. It's nice to have, and you may want to take some more photos later, although it will be darkness. We're not going to get actually KU back until a few minutes after the release. So you can just hold what you got for now.
Okay, I just have it pushed aside so I can take some photos. I'll keep it that way for 7 or 8 more minutes. I promise to have it back for you before the release. And we're gonna run the recorder during the release, so we'll just have high definition video during that.
Great plan.
This is Mission Control Houston, the Capcom CJ Serco continuing to talk with the crew, including Kevin Ford, Aki Hoshide, Sonny Williams on board the space station, getting ready for this release of Dragon coming up in about 14 and a half minutes at 8:26 a.m. Central Time. As things go, we will not have KU coverage, which is how we get video from the space station at the moment of release, so we'll be relying on the calls from the crew and also the robotics team here in Mission Control to confirm that has taken place.
perform step 1 and 1.602 Dragon departure monitoring.
Okay, copy that. Step 1 of 1.602 is in work. And Houston, on 2, the primary sensor we see on our overlays is LiDAR 2.
Yep, and that's fine, Sonny. Great catch.
Houston, Dragon is providing LiDAR filtered data on LiDAR 2, and the white strobe light is on. The CCP LED status is as depicted.
Copy all, Sonny. Thank you.
Here in Mission Control, Ron Spencer, the flight director, is conducting the final go, no-go poll of his team here for Dragon departure. Spencer has just completed his go, no-go poll. The entire team here is go. And the SpaceX mission director is reporting to Spencer as well that his team is go. So both the SpaceX and NASA teams have finished their polls and everything is all set. Release coming up in about 10.5 minutes, 8:26 a.m. Central Time.
Houston, you should have a Node 2 Nader camera view back now.
Okay, thanks a lot, Kevin. We're negative KU right now, but we'll look forward to seeing it.
Just 6 minutes to go until the release of Dragon. Everything beginning to get a bit busy as these two teams here in Houston and in Hawthorne, California, watch over these two different vehicles. These two spacecraft are flying 261 miles above Kazakhstan, just to the east of Baikonur, where both these crews launched from, one in July, one just a few days ago, as Kevin Ford, Evgeny Tarelkin, and Oleg Novitsky just arrived at the station, but their crewmates, Sonny Williams, Aki Hoshide, as well as their fellow crew member, Yuri Malenchenko, are in their final weeks aboard the station. There's the entire crew. You see there, Sonny Williams on the far left-hand side, Yuri Malenchenko, Aki Hoshide there in the middle. And then the newest crew members, Kevin Ford there on the right, as well as Evgeny Tarelkin and Oleg Novitsky. Just 3.5 minutes until Dragon is released from the station's arm. We'll stand by. We are out of video communication with the space station. Will remain so until the bottom of the hour. So we'll rely on the audio calls from the robotics officer as well as the crew itself as they get ready to let the spacecraft go. We're just a minute away from the scheduled opening of the window, 8:26 a.m. Central Time, of the release of Dragon. Whenever that time approaches us, you'll hear CJ Sturco call up to the crew and let them know they're go to release, and then we should get confirmation shortly thereafter that there's been separation between the station's arm and the spacecraft itself. But again, a minute after this takes place, Dragon will conduct a departure burn, and then a second one will take place at 8:29.
Space to ground 2, you are go for Dragon release. Perform steps 2 through 4 in 1.320.
In work.
This is animation from the robotics team here in Mission Control. Since we do not have video, we'll monitor it from here and see once the crew has backed the arm away from Dragon. But they're getting ready to do it. The window is open, so we'll stand by. The robotics officer confirming that the snares are being released from Dragon. And the robotics officer confirming that Dragon is officially released at 8:29 a.m. Central Time. These two vehicles are 255 miles above Burma. Again, Dragon has been released by the station's crew. It is now flying by itself as the station's robotic arm backs away from it. The SpaceX team confirming that Dragon's jets are armed, getting ready for this first departure burn. And there goes the jets. Dragon now firing itself and backing away from the International Space Station. These two vehicles passing over parts of China, about to cross over Laos. That's the first of the two burns that Dragon will conduct. There's another one coming up in a couple of minutes. And it will continue to back away until it crosses the keep-out sphere of the International Space Station. That's coming up here shortly.
Station Houston, departure burn 1 is complete. Departure burn 2 in approximately 1 minute.
Okay.
The second departure burn's underway. And it's now complete. SpaceX team is reporting that Dragon's path, the trajectory is as expected. You may see some...
Departure burn 2 is complete. Departure burn 3 in approximately 7.5 minutes.
Okay.
You may see some flashes there in the darkness of night. Those are not engine firings that you see there in the middle. Those are actually storms over parts of Thailand and parts of Cambodia. But as you heard, CJ Sturko just confirmed the third departure burn coming up in about 7 minutes or so. That'll be the point when Dragon will cross the keep-out sphere of the International Space Station and will be on its way. Here's a view from Dragon looking up at its former home for the past 2.5 weeks, International Space Station. You get a sense of exactly how big this complex is. That is the Japanese Kibo laboratory there on the bottom left-hand side with its front porch there attached to it where all those experiments are. The Columbus laboratory there at the bottom right-hand side. In between the two is the Harmony node. Right on top of Harmony is the U.S. laboratory Destiny. Just out of view is the Unity node that connects the Quest airlock, which you can sort of see at the top right-hand side. Over to the left is the Tranquility node with the cupola. The crew is inside that portion, looking down at Dragon as it backs away. And the entire 357-foot-long truss structure stretching from left to right there, with the solar panels beginning to emerge. Dragon is continuing to back away from the orbiting complex. We're about 3 minutes away from this third departure burn. That'll be the point at which it'll cross the keep-out sphere of the space station. But we'll continue to watch along, looking from Dragon's eye, looking up toward the space station itself. The entire U.S., Japanese, European, and Russian section is there in view now. You can see Dragon spinning around. It's performing its yaw maneuver as scheduled. And the yaw maneuver has been completed. The departure burn number 3 is in progress. If you look at the blinking lights there on the far right-hand side of the screen, you can see it moving away at a fairly quick clip. It is exiting the keep-out sphere now of the International Space Station.
Station Houston, departure burn 3 is complete. Dragon is outside the keep-out sphere. Go to maneuver the SSRMS steps 5 and 6 of 1.320.
In Houston, we concur. We see her moving aft and away from us out of the keep-out sphere. It was nice while she was on board. We tamed her, took her home, and literally and figuratively, there's a piece of us on that spacecraft going home to Earth.
We copy, Sonny.
Congratulations, Hawthorne, and thank you for her.
This is Mission Control Houston. This landmark mission getting close to coming to an end as SpaceX becomes the first commercial provider to run a regular resupply mission of cargo to the International Space Station. Dragon is well on its way now back toward a splashdown down in the Pacific Ocean. It's going to be coming down 250 miles west of Baja, California at the end of this mission. Splashdown time currently scheduled for 2:20 p.m. Central Time. All of its departure burns have been completed, taking it away from the orbiting complex, so it is rapidly increasing the distance between itself and the space station as we speak. The next major milestone for Dragon will be a apogee burn that will reduce the highest point of its orbit. That'll take place at 9:22 approximately a.m. Central Time. And then its deorbit burn is at 1:28 p.m. Central Time, 2:28 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that'll be a 10-minute and 40-second burn that will lower the lowest point of Dragon's orbit to dip it back into the atmosphere and begin the process of coming home. The trunk, which is the bottom portion of Dragon that has its solar arrays and some instrumentation, will be jettisoned at 1:41. Entry interface will take place at 1:43. The drogue chutes will be deployed at an altitude of about 45,000 feet at 2:11. And then the main chutes will be deployed at 2:12 shortly thereafter. Again, splashdown 2:20 approximately p.m. Central Time. Dragon, of course, bringing home quite a number of supplies. You heard Sonny Williams give some congratulatory remarks just a few minutes ago. It is taking home almost twice as much as it brought up. But it is delivering 1,673 pounds of cargo and research that is going to be taken out of Dragon. Some of it right after splashdown. The rest of it will be taken to McGregor, Texas after Dragon splashes down and then unloaded by SpaceX and NASA teams. But this mission has been very successful, this first commercial resupply mission. SpaceX launched back on October 7th. That was a Sunday. It took up 882 pounds of supplies to the complex. The crew spent the first few days of the mission unloading all of this cargo. They made very quick work of all of that. And Dragon performed fairly flawlessly during this first cargo mission to the space station. This will be the first of at least 12 cargo resupply missions that SpaceX will fly. Orbital Sciences, which is the other company that is performing under NASA's Commercial Orbital Transportation Services program, will be testing out its rocket and its spacecraft later on this year, and will begin flying missions in 2013 up to the space station. The next mission for SpaceX, currently scheduled for January. That is when it is targeted for, but again, it'll fly a flight almost identical to the one that it flew this time, delivering quite a bit of cargo and taking home quite a number of supplies and research for all the different scientists that have experiments on board the complex for them to retrieve those samples and continue their science. A programming reminder, this is going to end our coverage of the SpaceX mission. We will not have live coverage of the splashdown and SpaceX's reentry, but for the latest of all that and for confirmation of the deorbit burn and the splashdown of Dragon, log on to the SpaceX website at www.spacex.com or the NASA Space Station website at www.nasa.gov/station. We will be updating that as soon as we get confirmation from our colleagues at SpaceX that its spacecraft has re-entered and splashed down and has been secured. But again, www.nasa.gov/station. That is going to wrap it up for us. We appreciate you joining us during our coverage of SpaceX. It has been a historic mission. For all the latest, just log on to the NASA website. And we will see you back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time for ISS Update.
Science, technology, innovation, education. That's what NASA's all about. NASA Television brings you the universe like no one else can. NASA TV's public and media channels are